Hi, Stamping friends. It's Sherry Parker coming to you live on Wednesday, July 8th. Hope you had a safe and happy 4th of July if you're in the U.S. And here we are. July and summer is just really gearing up. Got a really cute card to share with you tonight and a few quick announcements. First, I'm having a Margs and Cards class. There's 2 sessions, July 23rd and 26th. So if it's something you're interested in, let me know. I'll have a to-go kit as well. You can message me, email me, text me, whatever. Happy to share the details. It is filling up, so if you're interested, let me know soon. And secondly, there is a new join experience right now. So for years, Stampin' Up! Has had kind of a similar starter kit program, but now they've changed it as $100. And then instead of like picking everything for your kit, instead you'll receive a $125 coupon once your demonstratorship is active. So it's really a cool thing, and that would even count towards your sales. So it's a win-win. And then the last thing I want to mention is Friday is a big day. Stampin' Up! Is launching a hot foil system, and I'll share some more information about that. Really exciting, adds a lot of bling to your projects. So look for more information on that coming. All right, I'm going to turn my camera around and we'll get started on today's project. All right, tonight we're going to use the Balloon Festoon bundle. This is online and it's a really fun stamp set, die cut set. And you might think, okay, yeah, great balloons, but let me just tell you, check out these dies. Hi everyone. Look at the size of these balloons. So not only can you have, some cute balloon accents on cards and things, but you can make huge balloons for banners and things like that. So that is something I really wanted to point out, that this is quite an amazing die cut set. And just to really show you, I cut out all the different sizes. So that kind of gives you an idea of the size. So those are all the sizes. I think there's 6 or 7 in total. It would even make a nice accent on a banner. So just something to keep in mind, that it's not your everyday ordinary die cut set. All right, tonight we're gonna make this cute fun fold card. And the real fun thing about this, in addition to having balloons on it, of course, is that when you open it up, you see the other side of the designer series paper. So you're actually getting a lot of mileage out of your paper. You don't have to pick which side you want. And I really love that about this card design. And I've used a couple different paper packs of designer series paper. It's the Bloom Boutique, as well as the stripes and the polka dots come from just the in color paper pack. And this is the hydrangea hue color. And this is a monochromatic card. So everything that I'm using tonight is hydrangea hue and white, essentially. So, but I do like the look, tone, and feel of that monochromatic look. All right, so before we get started, and I did just post this on my Facebook page, these are all the measurements of the pieces that we're gonna be using tonight. So you're gonna need, your cardstock base is 5.5 by 5.5. You're gonna score at a 5 1/4 line. You'll need a DSP and an inside piece that both measure 4 by 5 1/4. You will need a little strip of designer series paper that's 1 by 5 1/4. And then for the focal point of the card, the base, you'll need, I have white and hydrangea hue, but whatever colors, 3 by 4.5 and 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. And then for your grading, mine happened to be 3 inches wide by 3/4 inch tall and 1 inch tall, but it really depends on the grading that you're using. So we will move that aside and we'll start using our little pieces here. So there's our card base. It's hydrangea hue. And again, it's 5.5 long, and I scored it at 1 1/4. We'll make a nice fold there. I'll take my designer series paper piece as well as the strip, and then we will adhere this to our card base. So one thing I just kind of want to mention is when you're doing this, you're going to want to make sure your adhesive does not go all the way to the bottom. And the reason is you want your card to open, right? So we're going to position our designer series paper, just kind of put that flap on there, and it opens and closes like that. So, all right, well, thank you. I'm glad it's a new design. We like new designs, right? And then on this kind of bookbinding side, we'll put our strip of designer series paper here. Like so. And it almost looks like it's a continuous piece. So that's really your card front. The next what we'll do is we're gonna take the front part that is going to hold our balloons, and before we adhere that to the front of our card, I'm going to stamp a few of the little streamers, the swirly gigs, I don't really know what they're called. And I've got a curly one here, and this is that balloon festoon stamp set. I'm gonna stamp that in the middle for our big balloon. And then for the two small balloons, I will use this string or whatever that will support our balloon. So I wanted to do that first, and then I will adhere that to my card base here. Got my glue out, I'll just use that. I think my Stampin' Seal is at the end of its leg, so it is nice, you get a little red warning on your adhesive. So I happen to have some glue, which is a good thing. All right, so that is going to hold our balloons in place. And before I actually adhere the balloons, I'm going to put this on the front of my card, and I'll tell you why in just a second. I want this to have some dimensions, so I'm putting on some Stampin' Dimensionals. Got one in each corner, and then we'll center this right here in the middle of our card. Hi everyone, hi Felicia. So that way we know where we're gonna place our balloons. And I wanted that done first because I want these to have some dimension, but I don't want them to be so big they're not gonna fit in an envelope. So that's why I did it that way. If you have a really huge envelope and it didn't matter, then you could put your balloons anywhere. But I wanna make sure that I can still tuck it in an envelope. So I'm gonna put my big balloon in the middle, and then I've got these other two here that are cut out. And I'll show you which sizes I'm using here of this die cut set. I'm not using the smallest one, but I'm using the next two sizes. But you can see that you could get really large if you wanted to. I think if you make a really cute birthday banner. And then I'll put my smaller balloon there and another one on the right. So really pretty designer series paper packs that really all coordinate together. So you can see there is the opening and closing of our card. All right, for the greeting from our same balloon festoon stamp set, we're going to pull our pieces, if I can find them. Here they are. And I cut a strip here. I wanted, most of the balloon strand to show. So I wanted a really thin greeting, so that's why I picked this one. So then I'm just gonna layer that onto the hydrangea blue cardstock, and it'll go end to end on this one. I was brushing my dog today, and I feel like I have black dog hair all over everything, so shedding a ton right now. I'm gonna pop that up with some Stampin' Dimensionals and put that edge to edge here, like that. And then you can give it a little dimension if you want to add some embellishments. I love these iridescent gems in our in colors. I've been using these a lot, just really pretty. The paper pack. So the paper that I'm using is, this one comes from the Bloom Boutique, these two actually, and then the polka dots and the stripes come from just the In Color Designer Series paper packs. So I've really mixed and matched different paper packs, and you could use one pack, you could use multiples, really whatever you like, whatever combination you like. All right, before we adhere our bow, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the inside of the card. I wanted to stamp happy birthday. You could always use birthday cards. So we'll stamp happy birthday, and then that same stamp set comes with confetti, comes with stars. I actually made a few days ago for the 4th of July, I made this card here. And I used the balloon Festoon, the same greeting and stars. So really, versatility, we like that. We want to make sure we can get a lot of mileage out of our supplies. So sometimes it's fun to just think of other ways of using your stamps. All right, for the inside piece, we'll go ahead and place that in there. And to finish it off, we'll glue a bow. It'll take a second for that to dry, but once it dries, it's on there really, really good. So I'm gonna tack it down with a stamp. And then I thought I would show you a card, another card using the same layout. And that's really pretty with this designer series paper. And the cool thing about this one is the other side of the paper is actually black. So that's a fun surprise in there. So I wanted to show you that. All right, that's tonight's card. Remember that if you comment on or share my videos, that your name is automatically entered in to win the projects that I make each week. So I do appreciate you commenting on and sharing. Really like that. And then, of course, if you ever want to watch any of my videos, I do have a YouTube channel, as well as videos are on Facebook for 30 days, so you can watch them there. So last week we made this card here. I showed you how to use the new Impressions plate. It's an accessory with our Stamp Emboss machine. And what it does is, with these special impression dies, it gives a lot of dimension to those. So I use this tropical stamp set with the dies, and that's what we made. And so all of you who commented on and shared last week, thank you. And the winner for this week's card is Lisa Hammond, or last week's card rather. So thank you, and thank you, Lisa. Thank you, anyone who commented on and shared. I really do appreciate you, and every week. So I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can always look on my website, sherrythomas.stampinup.net, if you have any questions or anything. And stay tuned for the hot foil system coming. I'll be sharing information about that in the next day or two. Have a great night. Thanks. Good night.